Hi, I'm Beverly Mahone-Gibbs, one of the writing consultants here at the Writing Studio on the campus of North Carolina Central University. Joining me is one of my former students, Tyler Fisher, who came to me on several occasions to help him with his essay writing. And I am happy to say that he is one of my former prize students who has now gone on to achieve wonderful success.
I was going to ask, what's like the common line thread you see or mistakes you see in essays or writing pieces? Is there like a common mistake that you see students making?
No, there's more than one. I think the most common mistake I have seen is mixing past and present tense in the same sentence. I tell students all the time, you can't live in the past and you can't live in the present. Yeah. So you got to figure it out. Are you going to live in the past? Or are you going to live in the present? And I think that's a major error that students make. The other is the long run-on sentences. I tell students, if you have to take a breath before the period, the sentence is too long. If you have to and keep going, that sentence is way too long.
What if they got asthma?
Well, okay. I mean, that might be an excuse, but then the sentence is still too long. If you have asthma, then it should be even shorter. Oh, and I don't want to make light of asthma, but seriously, I think that the past and present, the long run-on sentences, and not being coherent in what it is they're trying to say. Mm-hmm. I mean, some students are all over the place. They start telling you one thing, and then they jump over to something else, and then they try to come back to the first subject, and it becomes so convoluted. And the other thing is vocabulary. I just had a student, and he was using a lot of what I call baby words. Mm. If a 6-year-old can use the word get in a sentence, why are you using it? Yeah. And you're in college. Let's find another word. Mm. So I think, building your vocabulary, reading comprehension, understanding the past and the present are just things that are egregious errors that students make. But once again, they don't want you to check them on it because they feel like my writing is really pretty okay. So I'm not really all that bad.
Saying that, is there any tools or advice you would give to students with their writing? Or
That's a good question. See, by the time you get to college, my belief is that you really should have some sense of how to write. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, that is not always the case. So I don't know if I really have an answer for that. I think you have to really comprehend what you're reading so you can write effectively. Now, here's what I'll say. Now, I'm getting ready to go down the rabbit hole with this one, but I'm going to say it anyway. 80% of the students I've seen who come in for writing help hate the subjects they have to write about. And when you don't like the subject, you're not going to write it well. That's just the bottom line. I don't care how you slice it or dice it. They don't like the subject matter. They're forced to write something based on what assignment has been given to them, and they struggle. And and so what I try to do with them is I try to put them into the situation. Like if it's something with the 19th century. Mm. Put yourself in that place at the time that this was going on. How would you feel about that? Mm. And then trying to get them to expand their minds. But students just don't really appreciate the kind of writing subjects they're given. And that's what makes it difficult.
I can definitely agree with that. I have had times where it's just, I didn't relate to the subject. And it's just like, do I want to put my energy towards something that I don't like?
Right.
Or can I go to lunch with my friends? Yeah. Hit the cafeteria.
Right.
But you're known as Auntie Bev. You have over 1 million followers on Instagram. You're popping on TikTok, Facebook, all the social online platforms. How can you say that writing or speaking or anything to do with literature has attributed to your success online?
I would say reading has been a tremendous asset for me because over the years, I used to collect journals with words that I came across in a book and I didn't know the definition. So I'd go look it up in the dictionary. And I'm talking about when I was little, I mean, like in elementary school. And over the years, as I continued to develop my vocabulary and continue to read more, it was easier for me to comprehend what I was reading. But I think it's because I had to have the vocabulary in order to really understand what I was reading. Because I believe personally they go hand in hand. If you can't read, you don't know what the words mean, you're just not going to be successful in your communication.
That's fair. That's definitely fair to say. Do you have any last words for any students about the writing studio? Maybe the hours, what you guys offer.
Well, okay, so I'm the one who's online. Hopefully, I will be back in the library at some point soon. But I would say, what I will say is, there are different writing consultants. I don't know how many of them there are, but every writing consultant here at the university in the writing studio has their own unique style.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it may not be the same as my style, it's still valuable because every one of us brings something unique to the table. I mean, we have people here who have master's degrees, we have people here who have doctorates, we have people who have written books. So we have people here who really understand the concept of writing. And while I may not be well versed in psychology, so any student who's a psychology student, let me just say this: I can't help you. I can't help you. Okay, no,
Yeah, really.
no. But I mean, well, I'm just saying because here's the thing. We all have different abilities.
Yeah.
We all have different subjects that we click with better than others. I remember having a psychology student, and I didn't understand half of what was written in the paper. And I thought, okay, how do I fake this? I don't even know how to fake this. But at the end of the day, that paper was really well written because as a person who didn't even know anything about psychology, I was able to comprehend based on the way the student wrote the paper. So that's all a part of it, I think, is understanding how to make the reader appreciate what it is you're trying to say. We're open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., I think Monday through Thursday, and till noon on Fridays. And you can walk in.
Walk in, okay.
Or you can make an appointment. And basically we run, well, the writing studio, let me just say this. The writing studio itself, the physical building, is open till 5. Online consultants will work into the evening. So we have a lot of students who, work during the day.
That is true.
And they can't get here during the day because their boss is not going to, I got a paper to write. No. So we have consultants who do work in the evening to accommodate those students who do work. And we have a lot of students who are returning back to school. I had a lady, she said she hadn't written in about 10 years. And all of a sudden now she's being bombarded with a lot of papers and she needed assistance. Yeah, that's a long time. Whew. So yeah, that's kind of it. But we're here. We're always here for you. And I'll be here till whenever.
Sounds good. Well, we really appreciate you. I appreciate you. And I got to shout you out. You helped me win one of my first scholarships. So I just want to shout you out, and I do appreciate you for that.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Mm-hmm.
You're very welcome. I knew you had a story in you. That's the thing. I knew you had a story in you, and you just needed to develop it. And I think I've said this to many students, is that don't be ashamed or afraid to tell your story, because in the process of telling your story, you're going to help somebody else. And if you don't help somebody else, you're going to help yourself and get a scholarship, especially if you are trying to pursue a scholarship. And, you know, when I heard your story that wasn't in your paper, I was trying to figure out, well, why isn't he sharing this? What is this about this story that he can't tell us? I don't understand. So I pushed you hard, you know, harder than maybe you wanted to be pushed, but
I appreciated it. Yeah, I really do. And guys, you got to take advantage of the writing studio. You can win scholarships like me. You can become a better writer, speaker, or just be an influencer with over 1 million followers. I don't know. The sky is the limit at the writing studio. So please tap into the writing studio and book your appointment today. Bye, guys.